Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV here in my Coldwater, Michigan hometown superstore with what used to be Rockwood's smallest, lightest, least expensive 2-axle trailer. There's now a GeoPro that technically holds that title, but this is the smallest, lightest, least expensive mini Lite, which is where their 8-foot wide full-size body campers start. So if what you're looking for is as many of the nicer features as possible, all crammed into the smallest package possible, but you want to stay in that tandem axle towing, that's where this one comes in. And Rockwood doing Rockwood things. Not only is it tandem axle, they're running a torsion suspension package, which rides and handles better. Goodyear tires with balancing beads and tire pressure monitoring. So the traveling function of this is excellent, especially considering when the slide is closed, you can easily navigate from the front to the back to the front again in the RV without ever touching the slide out. Everything in a Rockwood seems to be +1 of almost everybody else, like solid surface counters instead of thermofoil. They were one of the first to standardize solar. They are still one of the only ones to have a standard factory inverter to run your plugs if you're only off of battery power. Holding tank heat pads, factory standard, plywood flooring, but other than that, basically, everything in this is an all aluminum structure. Your walls are dual Asdel, so like wood-free walls. Your roof is laminated, which allows them to put the bathroom skylight exactly where you want it, which really helps a taller person like me in the shower. That being said, I always try to share the good with the bad. It is a radius shower. It is a short queen bed. Those two factors right there might be instant deal breakers for you. But if you appreciate that we'll tell you the good with the bad, hit that subscribe button. And as we go through this video, let me know what you like, let me know what you dislike, because we probably have some other RVs within our lineup that might suit your preferences a little bit better, and you can always jump over to our website to double check pricing and availability on any of these. And by the way, Rockwood, Mini Lite, Flagstaff, Micro Lite, literally the exact same thing. And there's a lot of people that will look at something like this one's little brother, the GeoPro 19 FBS, which is very similar, but it's a single axle and has an east-west full-size bed. This is a dual axle with a similar sofa slide, but with a north-south bed, albeit a short camp queen. So this mattress we're looking at here is 60 by 74 inches. And because when the slide closes, it comes right up against the foot of the bed, this floor plan really doesn't have a great opportunity to try to be upgraded to a true queen. But they make a big brother for that called the 2205 Mini Lite. Now, I don't expect you to remember all this alphabet soup and numerology. Numerology? I don't expect you to remember all these model numbers, is basically what I was trying to get at. Nailed it, first try. So I'm going to leave you links in the video description to those similar sister floor plans so that you can get a feel for them. In the meantime, what are we looking at here? So we're 8 foot wide. We have 6.5 foot walls, but it does have a barreled ceiling. I'm not running one of those like fisheye wide angle lenses. This does also have double ducted and centralized air conditioning with a 15,000 BTU unit. But if you want to drop all that air right here, you do what we've done where you leave these little fins open. You close those up and it pushes the cold air back through the ducting. There's a lot of people that buy brand new RVs with centralized air from dealerships who will take the camper out and say, man, my bedroom, my bathroom, they never get cold. The air conditioner in this sucks. And they don't realize that you actually can bypass the centralization, essentially, of the air conditioner. Now, this is carpetless, ventless flooring throughout this floor plan. You will notice some big carpeted humps beside each side of the bed. Basically, that's helped masking the pass-through compartment and the water heater. And it does mean that this bed isn't the most walk-around-able that you may have potentially ever seen. And for some folks, that's a problem. And for some folks, it's not. I just like to point it out so that you can decide what's what. And for no bigger than this camper is, I think they did a dynamite job on storage. Before I forget, by the way, this used to be optional. It's been standard for several years now, but blackout roller shades. And there's a lot of brands that don't even offer this as an option. So Superior tends to just kind of come standard on a Rockstaff RV. I used to always call it Rockwood doing Rockwood things, and I still think that applies. Like the fact that they gave us 4 hardwood framed cabinet doors here with the gravity-defying hinge system. This is all pocket-screwed lumber core cabinetry, by the way. A lot of manufacturers will save $1 by just leaving an open cavity above the bed. And you're lucky if you get 1 or 2 cabinet doors. Usually, they flop down on your head and give you half a concussion. So they've done a lot of little things that are easy to overlook and underappreciate that are all kind of factory standard here. Like you see those household outlets up by those side stands. First of all, this is very friendly if you're claustrophobic or a side sleeper. You want to sling your arm off the side right there. But those household outlets that we're looking at are also run to the factory standard inverter. There is, by the way, a blackout roller shade for that front windshield as well. And if I back up far enough, you might catch the fact on the left and right sides of the screen, you do also have privacy curtains here. So if you just don't like the idea of a full open air kind of bedroom arrangement like a hotel room, and you're like, yeah, I just really want something more private, this can do it. Additionally, they give us dual layer storage below the bed here. And all the drawers that you're looking at, they actually are like a residential soft close kind of mechanism on them. But the dual layer of this, it gives you the Foot Locker storage trunk methodology here. And you can see how anything that Rockwood builds in-house that is load bearing, whether it's the structure, the bed base, or if this RV actually had a traditional booth dinette, anything they build in-house does have a welded aluminum cage just to help support maximum potential loading weight. You may have noticed that TV can pivot for a little bit of viewing, and actually, I tell you what, I've got my shoes dangling off the side because I have a hard no shoes on the furniture policy. That grinds my gears. You watch people make these videos and they stomp their shoes all over somebody else's RV. It's the rudest crap, and I don't know. I guess I was raised differently. Maybe that's just my hill to die on. I'm not sure. But when you're laying in bed with your head up by the windshield, getting a scalp burning, this is kind of what you're looking at right here. So that is a 12-volt smart TV. That again is that I don't think I mentioned, but that is a 15,000 BTU air conditioner up there. And Rockwood used to offer a lighter and a darker decor package. They don't do that anymore in the Geos, the Rue hybrids, and here in the mini lights, the small stuff. When you start going up into the ultras and the signatures, the medium and the big size stuff, that's where some different color palettes can start to become available. So let me slide over here real quick. The kitchen counters in this, they're all solid surface, including that flip-up extension. It would be nice if this was countertop flush. It's not, but that would be nice. And that is your tire pressure monitoring system that's factory standard over here. Big old farm sink in this one. Rockwood's interesting. Certain floor plans have a farm sink. Certain ones have a 2-basin split sink. And there's very little rhyme nor reason that I've been able to discern as to which ones have which sink and why. So I guess just always double check. Big old larger oven. A lot of brands just aren't even doing propane ovens at all. And Rockwood's doing a larger oven, bigger than some fifth wheels that I've seen, frankly. That's also a 10 cubic foot, 12-volt compressor fridge with a nice pull-out style freezer drawer. I'll get all that open for you in just a second. All the storage will get open. Little shoe garage by the door. There's a little corner pocket of space over there next to that fire extinguisher that just isn't easy to utilize. So, you know, they said, what if we just make it a spot to put your shoes? And I'm obviously tripping over everything as I get myself back into the corner here. I have to really kind of climb on furniture a lot when I make these videos because I don't use the wide angle lensing, obviously. Now, this is just a little jackknife sofa. And somebody might ask, can this have a theater seat? The short answer is just no. The 2109 cannot have anything else in the slide out. If you want a theater seat or a hide-a-bed or a dinette, you need to look at its big brother, the 2205. This one has no furniture swaptions available because of the limitations of the slide. I'll just leave it at that. Again, I like how they include the extra storage in that overhead area. But if you're looking at this, you might be kind of wondering, where do I eat? Well, they thought of that. They used to include a little portable table with this, which was in a way kind of neat because you could like take it outside. You can't do that with this one, but this is also far more sturdy and stable because if you look at this, I'm actually gonna lift up the bottom of the jackknife sofa. It's actually bracketed to the slide floor. Now, you notice how the slide floor starts like 10 inches above the main floor? That's why this is not capable of accepting an upgraded sofa. Now, you can move this around, you can spin it, you can slide it to the other side. Obviously, you can take it off and get it out of the way. there's a bunch of different really handy things that you can do with that. What do you think about that lagoon setup there? And it can also fold down into a small sleeper. Now, I don't have the hard dimensions on this. Apologies there. What I'll tell you is a little kid would be fine. Probably, I'm going to estimate it's roughly about 5 foot long. So little kid, throw a blanket on it, big dog, something like that, going to get along just fine. The bathroom has a big old peekaboo I smell you door. And there's a reason. There's a big giant gap at the top of this because they use a big giant vent fan. And if you don't ventilate a bathroom properly and it has one of these bigger vent fans, you can potentially pull the brown snake stank. The brown snake stank, I've never said that before, out of the black tank, through the toilet, and up into the living cavity of your RV. So if you don't want the whole thing to smell like an outhouse, you need sometimes to have airflow. There's different ways to do it. It doesn't have to be a door gap, but that's how they've done it here. The bathroom might be a deal breaker for some folks. It's tight. Bathroom's very tight on the elbow space and whatnot. That is a porcelain foot flush stool, by the way. I do appreciate the fact that they actually give us pretty nice linen space over. Oh my gosh. I just realized I did not circle back and show you all the kitchen storage. So I'm glad that we did this and I caught that. So we'll get there in just a minute. In the meantime, shower headroom, if you're a little over 6 foot tall like me, I fit. It was close and I'm wearing some crazy thick Hoka shoes, but I fit. Elbow room can be a little bit of another story. I love the little shower treatments they have in here, giving you a place to keep your shampoos and body washes and stuff. The Shower Miser water saver system, if you're boondocking, this is handy. To make sure your water is hot shower ready, you flip on the Shower Miser, you turn on your hot water, and the blue elbow will turn white like an old school hypercolor t-shirt. You remember those things? They work great until mom forgot you weren't supposed to put it in the dryer, and then they never quite worked right again. Instead of being purple pink, I ended up with just a pink shirt. But I'm not bitter about it, am I, Mom? Anyway, as I said, we need to take a look at the kitchen storage here. So cracking open all that here, one thing I want to point out, next to the fridge in the back is where your pantry would be. It could be a coat closet, because the shelf that we're looking at and the shelf that's coming into view right now on the bottom of the screen are removable. But that would also, like, if you want to make it a coat closet, you could do that. You might notice also how it does have a privacy shade for the entry door. That's just another one of those nice extra little touches they do here that not every manufacturer does. Pocket screwed again, lumber core cabinetry, hidden hinges, magnet holdbacks, just nicer treatments all the way around. There's nothing necessarily wrong with staple cabinetry. There's nothing necessarily wrong with a non-hidden hinge. But I think if you ask anybody, which one would you prefer, including myself, despite all the things that I've seen and what I know about the industry, I would still prefer the way that they're doing stuff here. Like, what do we, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big plywood drawers, you know? They put all the storage capacity in this they really possibly can. And normally, I try to show you the road mode from that back corner, but I got myself up here. So I'm going to call an audible, and I'm actually going to show you from the bed to the back how easily accessed this is and traversed. And every time I see this floor plan with the slide closed, it always begs the question for me, would you like to see a no slide version of this? And the comments section always blows up. People always say, yes, I would love to see this thing without a slide out. It's just weird to me that most main market manufacturers haven't attempted to do that. I think Gulfstream or maybe Venture in the Sonic series, they might have tried. I can't remember. I feel like I've seen something like it, but it's shocking to me that it hasn't been something more manufacturers have tried to take on. But I guess it doesn't have to make sense to me. What does make sense, though, is that without ever touching the slide out button, you can get to the bedroom, all of the kitchen, every single ounce of storage. You can get yourself into and out of the bathroom without a problem, without the slide ever getting in the way. So if you prefer the extra storage footage that we give you and the road mode action and all that, hit that subscribe button. And in the meantime, we're going to hop outdoors and enjoy some sunshine. All right, so if we talk towing, when you look on the left side of the screen right here, you're going to see the website weights and measures. Like if you get on Forest River's website, that's what they say this thing weighs and all of that. Sometimes a real world model can be a little bit different. Like if you look at these tags, they're always in the front driver's corner for DOT reasons. This one specifically is 4,541 pounds. So always keep in mind the specific RV you're looking at in stock at any dealership, not just Bish's RV. it could actually weigh a little bit differently from what you find on the brochure or even that dealer's website, because I've found that very few dealers will actually pull the real weight of the RV. In theory, that is actually something that we try to do for our website, but I've found discrepancies. I'm not going to say that we're perfect and 100% accurate at that. So always ask your local salesperson to verify, no matter what store you're shopping from. Hope you appreciate the little pro tip there. Let's talk some construction. Let's start from the top and work our way down. And if you want to learn more about how these are put together, make sure you check out, I have a full factory video tour of these. So the roof is aluminum framed, vacuum laminated, very comfortably walkable. And what's cool about your slides on this, your slides are basically built like a miniature version of the RV itself. So if we zoom back and focus on that a little bit, your sidewalls also aluminum framed and vacuum laminated, as are the front and rear walls. Your walls are all what I call dual Asdel, so there's no Luan wood paneling there. Now your floor is aluminum framed, but it's not laminated. They actually build their floor like a luxury fifth wheel, even on this little trailer where it has a 5/8 ton groove plywood floor decking, because they don't want to develop soft spots in their campers over time. Now, another interesting thing, you can't see this, but behind the nose cap, they actually do have a layer of radiant foil to help with some thermal efficiencies, essentially, and that does wrap all the way down the underbelly. The underbelly's enclosed. It's not forced air heated, but it does have holding tank 12-volt heat pads, factory standard as well. You may have noticed the 30-pound propane tanks up front, and I know that we're kind of up close and personal on this, and I'm really sweeping you all over the RV. Just we're packed in real tight here today. Got a lot of inventory at my superstore in Coldwater, Michigan, and sometimes it's just what I gotta do for you. Power tongue jack on the front, power four-corner stabilizer jacks. And you might notice, it's actually interesting, we have them side by side. You see the smaller baggage door right there versus the bigger baggage door over there. That's this one's big brother, the 2205. If you like the RV that you're looking at today, but you say things like, I wish it had a theater seat, or I wish it had a true queen bed, or I wish it had bigger storage, or a fireplace, that's the 2205. Or if you want a private bedroom, that's called the 2511. That's the cool thing about Rockwood. They make so many models. Now, this little guy doesn't run on a rack and pinion slide. This is a Schwintek, but this is actually one of the better executions of a Schwintek, in my opinion. It is shallow. It is light. It is not filled with a big, heavy kitchen or anything like that. But behind the sofa, they still do just a little bit of a cargo door. Now, as long as we're over here on the poop side of the camper, let's go ahead and check out the fact that this has a singular, there we go, sewer outlet. That way you don't have to do the shuffle, you know, the sewer hose shuffle. That's a little bit different from the Chicago Bear shuffle, those of you who may recall that. We are camera prepped, and we're not ladder prepped, because we got a ladder built right on from the factory, which I personally prefer a ladder built directly on. Now, Rockwood likes to do a lot of and instead of or. Like, they give us the full receiver hitch on the back and a bumper instead of one or the other. And we do have a hot-cold outside utility shower back there. If I open this up, all you really see is like the connection point, because it comes with the little removable hose that you plug in there. But it's not just cold only, it's hot and cold, which I do think is nice. Now you see our little driveway barricades here to help encourage people to not scrape against an RV when they're pulling in the driveway. We've not had that problem, but we would like to maintain that record of not having that problem. Outside speakers mounted pretty high, but you might notice how they're surface mounted and not flush mounted. That means that there's only a tiny little hole in the wall, just enough to run the wiring, and all the speaker stuff is right on the surface level. If you're gonna do outside speakers on the sidewall of the RV, I kind of prefer that because it just feels less invasive to me. The entry door, you can see, has the bigger handle. It is an anti-slam variety. Now, on a Rockwood and a Flagstaff, I'll teach you how to fish. If you see a two-stepper like this, it's a manual up-down. If you see a 3 or 4-step, that means that it actually has the gas strut assist built on it as well. Now, Rockwood rides, I think, on one of the best suspension packages for like highway mileage running. This is a torsion suspension package. It's not a true four-wheel independent system. It's similar, but It's not a leaf spring system where everything is all hooked together. What I like about this is that it isolates road violence at a more localized level, and it doesn't cause the entire RV to get herky-jerked around and honky-tonked to pieces, basically. That's called roller quaking and jiggle banging, ladies and gentlemen. Now, you might notice our gas grill quick connect, and that is because this RV actually includes a griddle, which will mount on that black line, that rail that you're looking at right there. And just to kind of give you a size reference here, I actually left the griddle and I took the table from the inside of the RV and stuff, and I just stuffed it all in this front pass-through compartment. And you can see how there's still plenty of space available in here. Now, you might notice how the baggage door on the other side of the camper is smaller, and you got that corner full of stuff back there. I believe that's where your water heater is located on this model if you back the footage up a little bit. That's also one of the reasons why, you know, the side stands beside the bed. You saw those like carpeted side stands. It's because they're basically they're covering the water heater. Don't love it, but I don't know that there's really a better way around it. So what'd you think of it? Where did they nail it? Where did they fail it? To help, if you're curious or serious about dollars and cents on this, take a look at the links that I've left you in the video description. Now, in this case, I'm going to have to leave you two, because even though the Mini Lite and Micro Lite, Rockwood and Flagstaff, are literally the same trailer, they use different model numbers. So I have to give you two different links so that you can search those both down. And pricing on this could vary a lot between shipping distance and equipment option packages. It can swing quite a bit. So always check our site for the price that's closest to you, essentially. And short of that, if you appreciate how we tell you the ups, the downs, the in-betweens, and everything else, hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you next time. Almost made it out of this without a flub. Nope. Anyway, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.